Okay, so today we're going to be talking about absolute value equations. Now, our goal with absolute value equations is to very first get our absolute value all by itself on one side of our equal sign. So we isolate the absolute value on one side. That's the very first thing we're going to do. When we look at a lot of these problems, they're already isolated. For a couple of these, have some numbers outside, and we'll talk about those in a second. But let's talk about one that's pretty isolated. So if we look here, it's already isolated. The next thing we do after we have our absolute value isolated is we're going to split it into different equations. We call absolute value as the distance from zero. So there's two possible answers that this could equal. It could equal a positive 30 and it could equal a negative 30. So I have to split it into two equations to account for both possibilities inside that absolute value. Because our goal is to figure out what x is. So now that I split it, now I just have to solve each of these absolute values. I'm going to get two answers. Okay, each absolute value problem should have two different answers. So when you divide by negative 6, we're going to get x is going to equal negative 5. And then when we divide by negative 6 over here, x is going to equal positive 5. And that's our answers right there. Negative 5 and positive 5. Okay, but let's talk about one that has some stuff outside of the absolute value. So let's look over here at number 14. So my absolute value isn't quite isolated here because I have this 4 in front. Now, normally when we see a 4 in front of the parentheses, our strategy is to distribute that 4 to every term inside, right? Different with absolute value. You can't multiply into absolute value. In order to get rid of an absolute value, I have to isolate it first on one side and then split it into two, and that's where I get rid of that value. So I can't distribute, do anything to the stuff inside until I have actually split my equation. So how would I get rid of that 4? Well, it's multiplying with this absolute value, right? You just got to think of the absolute value as a big variable, basically. If it was 4x is equal to 56, how would we get rid of that 4? We would divide. So we would divide by 4 to each side. And that's going to give me absolute value of m plus 8 is equal to something. Absolute, or 56 divided by 4 is 14. I need to work on my times table. Okay. Never appreciate it. All right. Now that my absolute value is isolated, I'm going to split it into two. So I have, let's do it over here. N plus 8 is equal to a positive 14, and n plus 8 is equal to a negative 14. And then to solve it, that's a one-step equation now. I have to do the opposite operation, so I would minus the 8 from each side. So minus the 8, you should get n is equal to 6, and n is equal to a negative 22. So again, you're not always going to get the same number, just positive, negative version. You can get two different numbers with these absolute values. So once you've solved one, don't just write it again with a negative version. You can get two different numbers. You have to go through the steps on each of these problems.